Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, here with Jay Dash. We are going to continue with our Camp Battles episodes, moving on to the Steelers cornerbacks this week. We did offense last time, going to do defense this time, keep mixing it up. Dash, we got Artie Burns locked in at one side. Is Ross Cockrell locked in at the other side, in your opinion? As of right now, things could happen where Cockrell gets unseated, but in your opinion right now, do you say he's the second best corner on our team?
Oh, I don't know. I was going to say yes until you mentioned that last sentence, him being the second best corner. I wouldn't go that far, but I think he's locked in as the second corner right now, if that makes any sense.
Behind Burns and Cockrell, we still got Willie Gay. There's been some talk that he's going to get moved to safety. I doubt that happens. As of right now, from what I read on Friday, Willie Gay is running with the starting defense as the starting slot corner. Still very early. They're not even in pads, so it doesn't, can't take any of this to heart right now. Senquez Golson finally in the mix a little bit, moving around out there on the field. Can he stay injury-free?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but he is a wild card, and he could turn out to be a bust at this point, no doubt. I mean, 2 years gone now?
Yeah.
So there's no doubt he has maybe even better than a 50% chance to be a bust. But he also has the talent. At least he had the talent. The talent was there, so he could turn into a pretty good player still.
Now, last year, going into the draft of the 2016 season, I heard Kevin Colbert giving an interview, and he was very optimistic about Golson then. This is before he got hurt for the second time, and said that we already have a very special player coming in as a rookie, basically, because Golson had missed that first year. Can you still feel the same way about Golson, or is it more like you're saying where you're more on the fence because it's been so long since he's played football?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know if it's 50-50. I think there's a better shot he's not going to be a good player, man. You don't see too many players sit out that long. I mean, he's never played a professional snap yet, has he?
No, he's barely made it through a practice, quite honestly. He's only made it through a handful of practices.
So not only did he lose 2 years, we never even seen him play before that, really, as a Steeler, obviously. So while he had the talent in college, losing 2 years before you even take your first snap, it's going to be tough for him.
I'm still optimistic about him, but at the same time, I'm cautiously optimistic, I should say, because I don't know what we're going to get out of the guy. At this point, we've already lost so much. If he goes away, I mean, he hasn't been here for the last 2 years. So, yeah, you could say it's a waste of a second-round pick, but it's not like he was contributing last year and then we lose him, so it's going to hurt the defense. The upside is he could come in and steal the slot corner job away from Willie Gay at some point in the season, maybe even, after camp, and that would be great. But I think it's 60-40. He might even get cut, quite honestly.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, but, I mean, if he deserves it, you have to.
Now, behind them, it's two rookies and I don't want to call him an unknown, but he's a veteran who's bumped around a little bit. You got Cody Sensabaugh, the veteran, coming over from the New York Giants. He played a few years with the Tennessee Titans. He's not the biggest guy, but he's not too small either. He's a scrappy corner, I'll give him. He was expected to be a little better coming into Tennessee, kind of washed out a little bit. The Giants, he played all right for them, but kind of sparingly last year. I think Pittsburgh sees him more as a depth guy who they could count on in short-term situations, but not necessarily want to have to count on. But the fact that he's a veteran, that he could come in, learn, and provide you with a little bit of stability back there.
Yeah, I think that's all it is, man. The fact that this guy has seen action in the NFL, because like you just mentioned, you got Senquez, Golson, and the two rookies, so there's nobody really that's seen anything, so you had to bring in someone that's seen some game action in the NFL.
I like Sensabaugh. I think he's a good guy to have if he ends up being your fifth corner. I'm not upset about that at all, even your fourth corner. I think he's a guy who could come in and contribute a little bit. He's willing to play special teams. He's willing to stick his nose in there, run down the field, and try to lay somebody out. So you got to be able to do that if you're not going to be one of the starting guys on defense. So I like it. I like the signing. Nothing flashy, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, I'll take
Now,
it. Whatever.
behind him, like I just said a minute ago, we have the two rookies. Cameron Sutton, the guy we took in the 3rd round, and Brian Allen, the guy we took in the 5th round. Allen, I believe he's the one who was the converted wide receiver. He's bigger, stronger. He's way more of a raw product. I don't see Allen being able to push into a starting role this year, although I see on social media some people talking about it just because of his size and that he did play well in college. But he's going to have to learn, especially that if I'm correct, he only played corner 1, maybe 2 total years in college. So you're not going to be able to come into the NFL right away and just beast mode out and be this great corner. But a guy with his size, if he can keep his head down and learn, play special teams, he's definitely somebody that in, maybe 2 years that could step into that role, a la somebody like an Ike Taylor. Hopefully he just has better hands.
Yeah, it would have to be the outside corner. The way you're talking,
Yes,
he's a bigger
yep.
guy. I mean, this guy isn't going to be able to cover slot receiver, so he's going to have to step into that number 2 role at some point. And I mean, Ross Cockrell, like you mentioned, is he locked in as the number 2? Yeah, but it's not like someone can't unseat him, so who knows?
Yeah, right now I see it is Artie on the left side, Ross on the right side, Willie Gay in the slot, and then you have Brian Allen basically backing up Cockrell, Sutton kind of backing up, pushing 4-time with Willie Gay, and then I bet you if for some reason Artie Burns got hurt, I bet you, or even Ross Cockrell early, you would probably see Willie Gay step into a starting role and then Cameron Sutton move into that slot role, because I'm hearing a lot of good things about Sutton. They like his intelligence. They like his football IQ. He's been working hard the short time that he's been with the team so far. He's a guy who has a little bit more ball skills. He's definitely more polished of a corner than Brian Allen because he's been playing it his whole life. Sutton is definitely a guy I could see be kind of like Artie last year, where Artie kind of played sparingly at the beginning and then made a push late in the season and then played well as the season moved on. So Sutton, out of him and Allen, I could see him taking over for Willie Gay in the slot, or at least pushing for 50-50 playing time as that slot corner. Now, the extreme wild card, like we said a few minutes ago, is Senquez Golson, because if Golson can become what he was expected to be, then he technically should be able to step in for Willie Gay, but he's no more of a veteran than Cameron Sutton is. Neither one of them have ever played an NFL snap. It's not like Sutton is so far behind Golson. So there's some people saying that there's no way Sutton can beat out Golson. I think they're on the same plane right there. Don't you?
Oh, one hasn't been injured 100 times either.
Right.
And
so,
one's younger and probably faster.
Yeah, that's another thing. Golson had, what was it, a knee injury and then a foot injury. And then they had to put screws in Golson's foot, and then he was uncomfortable running in it, so then they had to take it out. So, I mean, who really knows what that guy as far as health-wise goes? But I really like Sutton. I think he's definitely a guy that if not this year, next year, I think you would see him move into that starting role, especially since Willie Gay is like 500 years old. The only guy older than him is James Harrison.
I think you could probably call it a success if one of those 3 guys turned into a good player for the Steelers, someone who turned into the number 2, number 3 corner on the team long term.
I would agree. You got some jamokes behind them at corner that we're not even going to bother mentioning. And some people were making a camp battle out of the safety position. We'll go and do a separate episode about that, which is going to be like 5 minutes because there's really no battle. But I'm just going to say right here, it's Sean Davis and Mike Mitchell. I mean, is there any question?
Who else are they saying?
I don't know who people think. They think Willie Gay is going to unseat Mike Mitchell at safety. Honestly, there's people on social media that truly believe that. They're out of their minds. I'm not saying Mike Mitchell's great. I've criticized him through his whole Steeler career. I think he's a guy who just tries to hit people. He's good against the run, but he's a liability against the pass. But I just don't see a guy switching positions. Willie Gay would have to switch to safety, and Gay's lost a step. I think Mitchell's still a little bit more athletic than Gay, so I just don't see that at all.
And the Steelers like their guys to be able to hit. And, I mean, Willie Gay, I'm not saying he's the worst tackler in the world or anything, but he's not a guy I think of to come up and stick someone.
Please believe. When Sean Davis took over as the starting safety last year alongside Mitchell, the Steelers went 9-1. I mean, why do you tinker with something like that? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Does that include the playoffs, you mean?
Yeah, the only loss the Steelers had once Davis got in the lineup was to the Patriots.
Right.
As a starter. And they did mess around with Sean Davis at nickel corner. I guess I should mention that during this episode. They experimented with Sean Davis early in the year last year at nickel corner. They thought that was something that he could do as well as play safety for the Steelers when they drafted him. He did it okay, but he kind of seemed like he was struggling a little bit. When they put him to just full-time safety and let him really go ahead at that, that's when he really took a step forward. So I don't see them messing around with that unless they'd be stricken by injury. Then maybe you can move Robert Golden to play safety for Davis and let Davis play a nickel corner. But that would have to be if Golson was complete garbage, Gay got hurt, and Sutton just wasn't ready. So it could happen. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't seem probable.
When a guy succeeds at a position, you keep him there. That's all I
Please believe. That's what I keep saying. So that's another reason why I don't want to move Willie Gay. Willie Gay is what he is now. He's a 32-year-old nickel corner who can give you some good reps and may get exposed in man coverage.
I understand, though, when corners get older, they move to safety and all that, but
right.
It's a little different. I mean, we got a young guy here. He came in and succeeded pretty much immediately at the safety position. To me, he's one of, if not the best player on the defense at this point. I'm not messing with it.
Believe it. If we're going to move a corner to safety, they're signing Darrelle Revis and moving him to Mitchell's spot, and we both know that ain't happening, so you're dead wrong. That's it. That's all I got, Dash. Anything else?
Nope.
Fans, questions, comments,
hey,
hit us
up. One other thing. James Conner can play defense, too.
Oh, that's right. He did play some linebacker, didn't he?
Oh, the end, I believe, maybe it was.
Okay.
The dude's a baller, man. Straight up.
He can rush the passer for the Steelers a little bit. James Harrison will teach him. Fans, questions, comments, hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Hit me up on Twitter at betjimtowin. Check out that Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Come back to YouTube, click subscribe, share it with all your friends. Steeler football, it's getting closer every day.